All right, I'm going to start off by saying that this was a good year in all. Had a pretty solid. The last 3 quarters of the semester were pretty good speeches. My first speech was probably the easiest speech I did, but I procrastinated. That was my biggest problem with everything I did this semester. Is everything I did was last minute, and that my grades showed it. I personally it was not acceptable of what I did, but I still learned a lot this semester as a whole about speech. A lot of it was self-explanatory, but I still feel like there were things that were added to I don't say inventory, but like my arsenal of tools I would use for public speaking. I'm gonna start off by saying that I did not have much anxiety at all. Every once in a while, my hands get a little sweaty, but other than that, I don't really have a fear of speaking in front of people. I mean, if it's a huge crowd, maybe, but online, it wasn't much to worry about. I got an 83 on my PRPSA, which is not much of a difference than the one I took at the beginning of the year, which was a 72. I think that being online was convenient because I could do the speech on my own time, but that's also a negative because I procrastinated the entire time as well. And it wasn't live, so there was little to no pressure at all. I mean, I was really looking at myself in the camera and speaking, so it wasn't very difficult to do. I feel like face-to-face would have been a much better class for me just to improve my public speaking skills and all. I wouldn't have procrastinated near as much. I would have learned a lot more about public speaking as a whole, and my public speaking skills would have improved much considering that I would just be in front of people and I would have to give the speech in the moment and not be able to do retakes. I'm sure that it's just it makes it a lot easier just to do it online in front of your phone, just like you're talking to a friend on FaceTime or something like that. I mean, with all that being said, I still learned a lot about how a speech is constructed and how it is presented in the most effective way. And I figured out how to give an intro. Like I knew how to give an intro in general. Like I knew the basic concepts of an intro, but I learned how to give I learned how to give an attention grabber to get the people like up in their seats and listening. An example of that was in my persuasive essay when I started my speech off with 6'6", 240 pounds, former Navy SEAL. I mean, I'm sure that line right there got plenty of people just to sit up in their seat and like listen, and be like, what is he about to say next? But with the body and the conclusion, it was about the same. It was self-explanatory, but the thing I feel like I improved on the most was figuring out how to get like stories, quotes, and facts to support my main points. And then also in my persuasive speech, I told a story about a female collegiate track athlete. She had to face a transgender woman like for her track title, and she felt like this was her words, which I also used in the speech. I felt as if my track title was taken right in front of me. So like those were the main things I learned about. And I mean in the conclusion, sorry for stuttering. In the conclusion, I just did a recap of the speech, but usually I ended the speech with like a question or a powerful phrase to cause the audience just to think deeper about my topic after I finish speaking, just to leave them with something to think about. But just to sum it up, like procrastination was my biggest enemy this year for sure. My grades suffered from it, but I feel like I still learned a good amount about public speaking, and I definitely improved a ton. And I'm going to take what I learned and use it in the future.